And a very good Monday morning to you, straight up 12 noon, and you're listening to HitMix 88.9 WEIU Charleston and Issues and Attitudes. I'm Rob Calhoun, morning show co-host here, filling in for Jeff Owens today, who is out. My co-host today is Annalicia Haynes.
How's it going, everyone?
Glad to have you aboard as well.
Yeah, I know. At least I'm here, right?
And with us here today from the Red, White, and Blue Days, Betty Coffin and Butch Hackett. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon, I guess I should say now. And Red, White, and Blues Days actually starts on June 27th. Could you give us a little bit of a rundown on the events that will be happening?
In a nutshell, the events, we're going to start on the 27th at 7:30 at Kiwanis Park for the patriotic salute by the Charleston Community Band. If there's a rain event, they will be at Charleston High School for that evening. On June 30th, at the Charleston VFW, we will have from 2 to 5 the Harold Hackett Memorial Bingo Games. That's one of our main fundraisers. And Butch Hackett here is the caller. And that's always a fun afternoon and a way for us to make money for this event. On July 3rd, we're going to have vendors in the park about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 to 6, we've got Joyful Bubbles, which is a fun, interactive children's activity. 6 o'clock begins our entertainment with the Hussey Brothers. They're a local group. They're local boys. And the annual Farmer of the Year Award. And at 8 o'clock, we've got the free mainline entertainment, which is John Michael Montgomery. On July 4th, we start out with a pancake breakfast at 7 in the morning. At 7:30, the race starts for the Habitat for Humanity 4-mile run walk. Registration starts at 9 for the chalk-in. We've got the pet parade at 9 o'clock. We've got inflatable games starting from 10 to 2. All-you-can-eat ice cream all day. The parade at 1 o'clock. And the afternoon concert is the Sawyer Brothers at 2:30. And back up one, the bell ringing ceremony this year, we've decided to feature our first responders here in Charleston. So the police and fire will be there for the bell ringing.
Sounds like a great event so far.
Did I get it all? Okay, we're done. No.
And of course, you have the fireworks. It's going to be at the airport. It's not going to be in Charleston at the park like most everything else is.
Right, exactly. And, that, like I said, it's just at dusk, and I understand there are shuttles and that sort of thing, but we're not really connected with the fireworks. Our event ends at the end of the concert, but we help promote it.
Let's start off with the 27th. They have a patriotic concert, and Ginger Stanfield does such an amazing job with the Charleston Community Band, and I just want to make sure that we give her a shout out.
Oh, exactly. And she has done this for years. Not for years. She took over from John Dom, who was there for years. And she has a real passion about this. And the songs, they do a lot of the military tributes and the marches and that sort of thing for this particular concert. And if you're not in the spirit when you go to that concert, you certainly will be when you leave. Get ready for Red, White, and Blue Days.
And the great thing about the Dom Amphitheater there at the Kiwanis Park, there is seating, but you can also bring your lawn chairs.
They encourage people to bring lawn chairs, blankets, whatever. If there's, as I mentioned earlier, if there's a water issue, it will be announced earlier in the day. It might be held at Charleston High School.
And just such a great event.
Absolutely. And, with Red, White, and Blue Days, I know that there's a wonderful story behind it. And I really think that we should let everyone know what that story is in case they don't already.
Well, I'm doing all the talking here, but actually the committee started in 1991 was our first event, and that was when the Desert Storm Troops were coming home. That was a national day of celebration declared by the president on July 4th. So we started with this little bitty award, a recognition ceremony and a little tiny parade, and we dedicated a monument at Morton Park. A lot of the people that were on that original committee, such as Butch's dad, Harold, aren't with us anymore, but we've carried on that tradition. It's just grown and grown, and it's just become a passion.
Absolutely.
For all
and
of
it's
us.
a beautiful tradition to have in Charleston.
It is. Right. And the bell ringing ceremony has always been something that we try to focus on, keep it patriotic, remember our military and recognize different facets of our community, because we have a great community here.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel really, really bad but you mentioned Harold Hackett, and I know that was your father.
Yes.
I guess, I feel bad, but who was he, Harold Hackett?
Oh.
He was an icon.
Well, my dad, of course, was involved with the community, worked at the post office, as did I. Of course, I'm Harold Hackett Jr., so I had to follow his footsteps at the post office because they didn't want to spend any money to get a new sign on the door. So when I took his place, but no, Dad has quite a history in military. He was a veteran, was shot on Pork Chop Hill on the 4th of July in 1952. So, he had a lot of awards and medals, and he was involved with a local VFW, and he had a passion for patriotic things. And I think when they started this committee, maybe a year or two after it started, he got involved with Betty and got involved with the committee. And just by osmosis, since I lived in town, I kind of got absorbed into it too, and started helping with it, and I'm proud to be able to carry on this tradition.
Absolutely, and I think right there, that family tradition, that family bond. I mean, that's what Charleston is all about. I feel like, especially around this time of year.
And we have that same thing. John and Carolyn Morrissey were on the original committee, and their children are carrying on the tradition, and they're on the committee. So you can't get off the committee.
You're a lifer.
You're a lifer, beyond life. But and one thing about Harold's connection, the original, the first year we started, of course, Harold was a big advocate and a go-to guy, but his position as quartermaster at the VFW, he had support even from the very first year.
Right.
I mean, he supported us, so it was natural for him to just be a
What a
part of
beautiful
it.
story.
What does it mean to you to have an event during Red, White, and Blue Days named after your father?
It's humbling, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And if somebody wants to participate in the Harold Hackett Memorial Bingo, what do they need to do?
Go ahead.
Show up at the VFW. I'm going to be there at about 10 o'clock Sunday morning, and about 3 years ago, we switched. The venue started, everything was centered around Morton Park when we started this, and we kind of got to the point where the bingo was drawing larger crowds, and then we were at the mercy of the weather, acoustics, transporting the equipment, and Mike Z getting the sound system. And we got to the point where there was a year or two where it was severe heat, or we had storm, or we had to set up extra tables outside the pavilion, and people were having a hard time hearing. So we made a call about 3 years ago to see if we could move it into the VFW. And I really think from the comments we've received, it's been a much positive acceptance of us moving it, even though it's not at Morton Park. We now have a venue that's climate controlled. Visibility, the acoustics, everything is a lot better and comfort, because some people were complaining about the benches, after an hour or so. So actually,
and restrooms and that's
and restroom accessibility. So we moved that, and I think we've had a lot more positive comments than we have negative on the move.
And it's nice to have a VFW in town that really supports causes, because I know that they are helping with a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Since the word go, they've been
exactly
they've been a big advocate for us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're playing bingo, is there a cost to the bingo?
Yeah, what we did, and we tried to keep it lighthearted, and because we know that sometimes people don't play bingo, we do have the diehard bingo players that, but what we do is we have the old card, or the wooden cards with the slides, 25 cents a card per game. That way you're flexible, you don't play one game or not, and it's 25 cents per game per card. Now, the way the state law is, you must be 18 to bingo and collect money. We do allow kids to play, but if the kids bingo, then their parent, grandparent, or whoever they're with needs to be the one to actually collect. So we've got it set up to where we do pay cash each game. We try to play about 20, usually get 20 games in the 3 hours allotted, because we do take a halftime break. Our response from the merchants this year has been overwhelming compared to previous years. So we do have a lot. Every game's going to be, in addition to cash, some wonderful gift cards, prizes that have been donated. So we're really looking forward to that.
And something else that you have, it's on July 3rd with the vendors opening. It's always been a tradition of the Red, White, and Blue Days have nonprofits, and could you tell us a little bit about some of the vendors that are going to be there?
Certainly. Actually, and it's a park regulation that the only not-for-profit organizations can set up there, not commercial vendors. So, and what we have, and I can run down this list and give you a little snippet of what they're going to be serving. But these groups are out there to raise money for their own charitable causes. So if you support them, you're supporting the entire community by doing this. The Hutton Masonic Lodge is going to have like grilled chicken and pulled pork and pork chop sandwich. Charleston Rotary Club, they've been with us since day one. Barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs. Knights of Columbus and their famous lemon shake-ups. They're also going to do sweet corn, and they will have some hot dogs too. The American Legion, another group that has been supportive of us, they always have their pancake breakfast. We'll come back to that. But this year, they're going to have on the 3rd sausage on a stick available. Central Christian Church is going to have kettle corn and pork rinds and funnel cakes, and they're going to corn dogs and onion rings and all sorts of food. CHS Cheer Team, they're doing the shaved ice and shake-ups. New Life Tabernacle, which is new with us this year, are going to have hot dogs and brats and sausage and egg rolls and crab rangoon. How about that?
That's a twist.
I know. So, but those are the food vendors, and then of course we'll have the other informational giveaways, raffles, arts and crafts, that sort of thing.
And you were telling me beforehand that Eastern Illinois Athletics is going to be out there with a booth.
They are. They're going to. This is the first time this year. They're going to be handing out posters and information about the upcoming season, and they're hoping to have a player or two there to meet people.
We have a player that I'm sure would want to go to that.
Yeah,
hint,
if
hint,
he's
Travis.
if he's still in town anyway.
I think that's
true.
their problem.
Yeah.
But a couple other things I might mention in these vendors. We've got the breastfeeding support group's going to have a baby rest station with a place, in the cool where people can go and rest and kind of catch their breath a little bit. There's a quilt raffle by Lincoln Log Cabin, information and giveaways from 2 or 3 churches about their summer Bible school programs and that sort of thing. So, Nine Muses has their annual art and craft sale, which is just phenomenal. It's fun to see that artwork. So there's lots to see and lots to eat.
Well, for starters, I love the food. You can't have an event or a summertime 4th of July themed event without carnival and festival food.
Right.
And I think it's phenomenal that these are organizations that are raising money for a good cause.
Exactly.
It's not that's not something you see every day.
No. We've had to make do and had to work around the regulations at the park, which is we're not working around them, but we're just can't have the for-profit vendors
Right.
in there, which. I say it helps the entire community.
Absolutely, and does that really says something about Red, White, and Blue Days, though, if you think
does.
about it. But what I wanted to know was about the parade. So I know that's on the 4th, right?
On the 4th.
Is that around Morton Park?
Actually, it lines up on the square.
Oh, okay.
And it comes down 6th Street, across on Polk, and then down Division. So it does go on the west side of the park.
Oh, okay, okay.
And you also have some games taking place on the 3rd as well. Do you know what kind of games that you're going to have?
What kind of game? Well, we have the Joyful Bubbles is the. I don't know how to really describe it. I have a hard time. Yeah, it's just where they've got the great big bubbles. Kids can play.
Jump rope.
It's all interactive.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Yeah,
I think we took a picture of that last
Yeah.
year.
I think so.
Everyone's just surrounded by bubbles.
Yes.
There's bubbles all over the
Right,
place.
yeah.
So very
and
cool.
we have that, and I think there's some. I'm not sure what they're going to have. We usually have some other events for kids, and I think some of these vendors, are going to have little activities for kids as well. Joyful Bubbles is from 4 to 6.
And I'm sure there are people out there thinking, well, there's not a lot of parking around Morton Park. Where am I going to park if I come up there?
What we say is park at O'Brien Field, and it's just a block away. That's
Walk, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Charleston is, there's a lot of places that are really close together, though.
right. The only thing
So-
we ask is people don't park in a business parking lot that's open.
Right.
We get frantic calls from the shop owners.
I'm sure.
And the park has added 2 or 3 different parking lots as well, so there's pretty good parking.
You're going to also have some concerts headlined by John Michael Montgomery, but first it's going to be the Hussey Brothers, and
Right.
these are 2 local kids, not kids anymore, but 2 local men who have a passion for singing.
Exactly. And Sean and Quinn are the 2 boys, and they. I've listened to some of their music, and they're just, it's a nice opening act. It's going to get everybody ready for the main act. And
So with the concerts, what are some things that people need to keep in mind when they go, other than the fact that there's going to be, because when I went in years past, there were a lot of people there. It feels like the whole town was there. So what are some things that people need to keep in mind?
well, first of all, we tell everybody to bring a lawn chair, because there's not a lot. We don't provide seating, so you can lawn chair or blanket. Don't bring your fireworks. We would prefer you not bring your pets, but if we can't keep them from doing it. Just,
Right.
be aware of the fact that it's stressful for the pets and it's stressful for people. It's not a great situation for pets, but we can't say no to that, but it's just a good idea. Not fireworks. We've had that happen a few times where people think it's fun to bring those, but one of the most important things is to come enjoy the concerts, support the vendors, and just enjoy the evening.
And the headliner, of course, John Michael Montgomery on the 3rd, country artist. How do you decide who is going to come in each year?
Well, that's pretty much decided by our budget.
Well, and Mike Z's connections.
Exactly. Yeah. Mike Ziebka at Z's Music.
Yeah.
He pretty much takes care of that.
So do you have a meeting to discuss it, or does Mike just get a hold of some people and see who he can get for that price range?
That's basically what he does. Is he sends feelers out of what's available, and then he kind of filters through them, and then
Right.
notifies Betty and them, and say, hey, how about so and so, and
I know that the fund, he doesn't come for free, and where do the funds come from to pay for the concert, since it is free for the people to go watch?
Right now, one of our main fundraisers for our committee is the bingo game on Sunday. That's where we get a lot of our money from. The primary sources are Charleston Charitable Trust and Charleston Tourism. And then we go out for individual contributions like Illinois or Consolidated Communications.
the banks, some of the banks.
Yeah, the banks and that sort of thing to give us money.
So it really is a community effort.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Yeah.
Well, see, I'm from up north, and the bigger the city gets, it feels like the less likely that things like
Personal.
exactly, less personal. So when I first started going to Red, White, and Blue Days, I think I was my first summer here in Charleston. I was blown away
Yeah.
because you guys had some really good headliners.
Yeah.
So
And that's thanks to Z. I mean, he's got some good connections, and
that's fantastic.
Also have the Farmer of the Year between concerts too. How is that decided?
that's done through the Farm Bureau in conjunction with the Charleston Chamber of Commerce. They get together and work this out, and we don't even know who it is, don't know how it happens. We get a plaque that evening right before they go up on stage and present it. So
And people get nominated for that.
they are through.
Okay.
It all happens through the Farm Bureau.
Okay.
Then on the 4th, one of my favorite things, pancakes. And right there at the park, the American Legion Pancake Breakfast. And what do people need to do?
Basically, you can buy tickets in advance if you like, but you can buy them right there at the door. I think they might be, are they a little bit less in advance? I'm not sure, but,
I thought they were.
and they might very well be, but I say $6 for adults. That's basically all you can eat pancakes. $3 for children ages 5 to 12, and they're trying really hard. And one thing about the American Legion and the VFW, the American Legion in particular, are they raise money to keep their uniforms up to date and their equipment up to date, because these are the groups, both groups, Legion and VFW, that do all the honor guards for all the different events here, the family funerals and that sort of thing. So, they support us. We try to support them.
Absolutely.
But you can do a dual purpose here. First, go get pancakes, and then participate in the rum walk for
I know.
that for humanity. What do people need to do if they want to participate in the rum walk?
The Habitat for Humanity, on their website, they have an entry form, and I think if you enter by a certain date, you get a free T-shirt with that registration. And they can go on our website or Habitat's website, find that form, and that's always a fun event.
Yes, it is. And then you have the chalk-in, too. What age groups are participating in the chalk-in?
Every age, that I understand. I mean, they have little artists, they have older artists. They're judged by category by the Arts Council.
I suppose we could.
We could if I could get down on the sidewalk.
Well, I'm not that artistic, so
Yeah, that's the problem. Bless
I'm not that flexible.
might get down but not up.
The fact, when you go by there after the little artists are done and the contest is over, to see some of the artwork, it's just amazing what kind of talent there is.
And then everybody loves their pets, and got an event for them too.
Right. And I'm doing all the talking, but
You're fine.
the pet parade is something that's new this last 2 or 3 years, I think. The 4-H Dog Spin Club, which I can't remember what that stands for, but they conduct the pet parade, and we've had everything from, of course, dogs and dogs in costume, which is not necessary, just bring your pet. We've had pygmy goats, and we've had a turtle in a bucket. We've had all kinds of things. So
It sounds like fun.
I love pets. And I feel like, especially when they're in costumes and they're all dressed up,
Yeah.
So, and then we talked about the parade. Is there anyone else that can participate in the parade? Do you have to sign up for something like that, or?
In our local parade,
Yeah.
on the 4th, no. Well, we have a sign-up form to help us
Right.
kind of plan the lineup, but in my opinion, if you want to be in the parade, try to let us know ahead of time so we can plan ahead. If the spirit catches you that day, come on up.
All dressed up.
Yeah,
Red,
just
white,
in
and
the corner. We've had a lot of people just show up that day, and we'll get them in.
Yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah.
And then show up for the candy. Like, anyone
Yeah.
can grab
That's
the
right.
candy, right?
Yeah.
Or is that shove the kids out of right?
Another fun event that you're doing, the inflatables and then the fire hose. The fire department's going to be out there at
Right.
Division Street. Is going to be closed between Lincoln and
The Pierce. Right.
Pierce.
Yeah.
I was trying to think
for a
of what
short time,
street is
yeah.
on the north side of the park there. And the kids just really seem to have so much fun with that.
I know, and it's just a fire hose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, and that's another reason why we like to recognize our first responders, because they've done this for years. The fire hose on the street, the fire department, they provide the ambulance service, or in case it's needed. The police do all the sectioning off of the streets and the parade route, that sort of thing. And we just thought we need to give them a shout out.
And that's what the bell ringing ceremony.
bell ringing
So what
is.
is the significance of the bell ringing ceremony?
Do you want to talk about that one?
No, that was,
Well, actually, that started the way this started. The very first year we did this, we were talking about this little parade and dedicate this monument. The editor at that time of the Charleston paper was Betty Boyer. She got a hold of one of us and said, she worked really hard on a committee to get that Liberty Bell in the park, and she said, you need to get somebody to ring that Liberty Bell, and this as part of this dedication, this little ceremony. And Frank Smith was one that got on board with that, and so that's how every year the first year we had the returning Desert Storm vets ring the bell. In years since, we've had various different groups. I think your family did when your dad passed. We had your dad. We've recognized different people from different eras, different wars, that sort of thing, and different businesses and civic organizations. So, 29 years, that's a lot of bell ringing.
That is, yeah, absolutely.
Couple other things we want to talk about. First, the all-you-can-eat ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream.
Well, that's at 2 o'clock, or no, I'm sorry, for $2, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can get your hand stamped, and as long as you can stand in line and eat ice cream, you can go around and around and,
Usually a long line if it's hot.
Yeah, it is.
For sure it would be. And then the Sawyer Brothers, an amazing local band.
Yeah, they are, and that's always fun entertainment. One thing about the ice cream, I do want to mention that Hilltop, a convalescent, is going to donate the ice cream this year, which is a huge plus for us, because that helps us.
Absolutely.
So, but yes, the Sawyer Brothers are a fun group. They have a huge local following, so it's going to be fun.
And that concludes the events. Anything else that we haven't mentioned that you do want to bring up?
The only thing I wanted to say is that I'm just how proud I am of the local merchants and the way they contribute to this cause, because I know, having worked at some of the retail establishments, the local people are inundated almost daily with various people wanting donations for various causes. And rather than becoming angry or stubborn about it, they've opened their arms and given us a lot of things without any, with a smile on their face, and they're glad to do it. And so I just always try to include them on bingo day to make sure that the people that participate in the bingo, that are there to play, give a shout out to the businesses and try to shop locally when they can to help these businesses.
Just about a minute left. Betty, anything else you want to add?
Not really. Just to stress the fact that people need to bring their lawn chairs. We have people set up their chairs from about the
6 in the morning.
6 in the morning, getting ready for the big event.
Yeah.
But bring your appetite. Support our vendors. These are people that help us have a good event, and it's just a fun event. Come on out to the park, rain or shine.
Yeah.
We hope.
June 27th, the concert, bingo on the 30th, and the big festivities start July 3rd and 4th. Butch Hackett, Betty Coffrin, thanks for joining us here today. We really appreciate it,
Thank you.
and letting
Thank you
us
so
know
much.
about Red, White, and Blue Days. Annalicia, thanks for helping me today.
Oh, you got it.
Always appreciate having Annalicia around. And we'd like to thank you for joining in with another edition of Issues and Attitudes. This is Hit Mix 88.9 WEIU Charleston. Have a great day, everyone.